Hey guys, it's Ben the Coin Geek at Old Pueblo Coin in Tucson, Arizona. Thanks for joining me today. Like, share, subscribe, do those things. And in the meantime, let's enjoy some coins together. Our new purchases from the Central States show just got back. And I'll tell you what, I got some fun stuff for you. As always, anything available in any of our videos, if it's still for sale by the time the video drops, will be linked in the description. This is an old green holder, PCGS 81S 66 CAC, and the reverse on that guy is just bombastic. This guy need 4.25 on that guy. So we had a nice time there, and I tell you to pop some popcorn because I've decided to put this all in one video, and I'm going to go relatively quick through these coins because there's just a lot of them here. Get your whatever you need going, your coffee. This is kind of fun. I really enjoyed this 1891 Indian cent that was off center, and you can see the date on it, which is kind of cool. And it's really just kind of an intriguing piece. They call it a VF35, 20% off center. That guy I think we've got listed at 360. All right, and while I'm there, I'm always trying to buy some fun stuff, things that have eye appeal that I don't mind owning, things that I like. And try to buy some stuff all over the grade spectrum, type spectrum, price spectrum. I'm just kind of on the spectrum. So here's this 1881. This one's in an old fat. He just had another pretty cool look to it. MS65 with the CAC sticker. This guy I need 275. For those of you who don't know, they're fatties. They're just the older holders were a thicker variety on that. Speaking of varieties, what's up, Doc? Here is a Bugs Bunny named for the fact that it actually looks like he has fangs. I guess just Dracula was already taken. Right up there underneath on the lips, he's got some sharp pointy teeth, just like a bunny would. This one is in an old soapbox, annex soapbox holder, MS63. And this guy, I'm not sure. I don't have my tag on here. I think they trade for about 45. I'm going to make that up. We'll have it all corrected later. Most of these things I remember to put a note on, but this one, the couple maybe I didn't. Actually, it's a couple of these early ones I can already see. This 85O. This is an MS63, and I actually picked this coin because I just thought it was really lovely, for the grade especially. It's a type of coin where the grade's probably accurate despite the super clean open fields, just because anytime you have some lines that are a little heavier on the cheek, they'll kind of discount the coin a grade. But that's probably going to be in that 75-ish range. All right. We have all kinds of stuff. We're all over the place here. So here's a 1795 half dollar. It's a coin that is pretty cool. You can see right here it says gradable, not genuine, not gradable. The coin has been cleaned at some point in time. You can see it's kind of a little too bright. Some bright shiny lines on there, but what a beautiful, beautiful coin. Just a great piece of history. This guy we've got at 1900. The Legend of 1900, PCGS genuine. All right, 020. This one was all about the color. 020, it's 020 and a 63 CAC holder. And I just thought it had a really good look to it overall. This one is 450. This is just one of those coins that's all about the eye appeal. Thought it had really pretty good vibrance and nice coverage. It doesn't cover the entire coin with color, but it's pretty close. It's a 79S and MS63. Got a couple common date dollars that came in trade. And so these are those ones that I had said I didn't have marked up. There's actually this little group here, somewhere in the $90 to $100 range on a 79S and 3. That's probably the current market. And then I got these two 80Ss in 4. By the way, and these are probably not too far off in price from that one. Really lovely. If you're into cherry picking coins, you just want to find a really lovely, lovely Morgan dollar. I always suggest just look at those ADSs in 64. Well, one thing for variety, but also just in general, you'll have just amazing looking coins that are graded MS64 and are at an MS64 price point. Sometimes they're proof-like, you know, sometimes they have a satin finish, just kind of all over the place. All right, let's pull some stuff in the middle of the pile. I got a few of these guys. This is kind of fun. I always want to say Tartarstan, but this is Tabaristan, 740 to 760 AD. Silver hemidrachman. Really, really cool, super thin planchet style coins. I've had these that were dug up that had crystallized and just they absolutely shatter, like a Shadoobie shatter. Really, really broken. So this mint state version from the Silk Road Hoard, I'm sure there's a lot of them, is $100 on that guy. I've got a few different ones here. Now that I'm looking, I think I'm going to show them all together if I can grab them real quick. Because then there is a couple different ones here, some different varieties. There's Khurshid and Suleiman. This is, I think, the same as the previous. Like a lot of coins that you'll see in medieval times, they have that really interesting look with the thin flange. That one is also $100. And the Suleiman, I think I've got this one at 90. A little bit different variety to it. Also mint state, and you can tell on this, that's what they look like when they come up out of the ground. Very Indiana Jones-ish. You know, when you ever see a hoard, you always think that it was like Indy got it. This was actually not from the hoard. That previous two were from the hoard. This one also, this is Sasanian Empire, so 591 to 628, so just before then, and that's the big boy, the silver drachma. And Khusru II, Choice AU, pretty neat looking piece. This one is 150 on that guy. I decided to do all one video because there's actually a lot of things I picked up that I'm going to send straight in for stickering just because I liked them. This one is a 81S in that Gen 2 holder with the kind of like the rattler that's got the holder put around it. Oh, dropping stuff already. All right, I only went like 10 coins in and I dropped something. Here we go. This one is 120 on this guy. Has a real nice finish to the reverse. Very much so. I considered sending this one in for stickering. I guess maybe if it doesn't sell after a bit, maybe we'll send it in for stickering. All right, on to something that's like very, very high-end coin here. This is a 23S Standing Liberty Quarter, and at a glance, I just want you guys to kind of get a feel for this coin here. At a glance, kind of think about what you think the grade might be. And I know it's unfair for those of you who don't collect Standing Liberty Quarters. Pretty close to a full head. A little bit subdued on the reverse, but that's all luster. I was really kind of tickled with this coin. AU53 and CAC'd, and the coin itself just looks like it's got 90% of its luster left. So, and this guy is $2,550. That's a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. That one is definitely cooking with fire. 81O, this is another one that I picked up just because I thought it had a really beautiful look to it. Anytime, you know, there's that seamless transition from the toning down to the security strip, Look at the color palette, it's not too far off. Maybe this guy, I need 280 on that guy. I thought it was fun. A lot of guys at the shows, their toners are either ugly and expensive, or they're like $2,000 and just like silly. Here's an ADS and a 63 proof-like holder. Very interesting coin, very much so, with the strong proof-like finish to it, and a lot of chatter. And then, of course, the reverse, though, is really, really nice. This coin I have marked at $130. It's got a little bit of a cameo effect, so a little bit of that black and white contrast on the reverse. But pretty bold reverse. All right, let's do a little bit of some paper money on the quick here, because some of this stuff doesn't need as much of an introduction, because some of this stuff is simply, you know, speaking of introductions, I should have done it the right way, which is to like make it look like it's a solid digit, almost solid digit serial number in a superb 67. And that guy we've got, what do I have that at, 280? I think I've got that at 280. And then somebody someone got the solid fours. Actually, here is another note with a binary ladder, two different types of digits. Pardon me, I said ladder. Radar, thank you. Also in 67, radar serial number. And that note we have at 2 1/4. And one in Tucson. I actually bought 2 Tucson notes. I'll show you the other one later, but this one I need 12 1/4 out of. This is a uncertified version, just kind of a nice find. 4287, the charter number on there. Well-worn example, but really quite nice. One more banknote, and then we'll get back to some coins. This one I think I'm just going to put on eBay as an auction. Number 779. Kind of neat, pretty well worn. Kind of like a VF20 type note. All right, back to the beach, y'all. Here we go with a 79S, but one of these things is not like the other. Reverse of 78 with a, like, okay, most 78S's, in full disclosure, have like just an amazing like PL finish. It's amazing to me how many 78S's have a PL finish to them. So pretty interesting. 79 obverse with the 78 reverse, MS63, and tough coin. That is a $1,200 coin. That's actually a lot more difficult than you would think, but I rarely get them in. All right, all that glitters is gold. Here's a 47, $10 gold piece from New Orleans. Got that nice New Orleans mint mark on it. The big O. This one is an AU53 by NGC. I think we got that priced at $1,800 on that guy. Alrighty, trying to make room here without knocking everything down, because I am unnecessarily stacking things. Here is an 86S Morgan. I thought this was very pleasing for an MS62. This coin is $515. You know, those early S mints are so easy to get, and then all of a sudden it's like 83, 84, 85, 86. You know, they just kind of keep rolling and are tougher and tougher coins to get. Here is a $1 octagonal gold piece. These are tough to get, the dollar pieces. This one is AU55 by NGC. This is BG1109 is the identification number on there. Pretty cool piece. And this guy I have at 650. AU55. Here's something you don't see every day. This was a coin that actually I had a lot of people look at after I got it, and kind of surprised nobody pulled the trigger, because this is a 97S in VF35. Yes, they do exist. It's kind of a unicorn of a coin. If someone was trying to put together a VF35 holder, I don't even know how many they have graded, but there's not a lot. And even though the show had, you know, hundreds of thousands of coins at it, I'm pretty sure this was the only 97S in VF35. And this is a coin that I've got labeled at $1,000 on that guy. Who knows what the real value? They're actually really tough to value. Another genuine coin here. Good to know, right? This one I thought was really interesting. This 1834 quarter. Had some schmutz on it, and it looks like somebody went ahead and took it off themselves, but didn't do it the right way. Still has a little bit of schmutz on it, actually. Still considering possibly sending this in for conservation of some kind. Definitely one of the highest grade ones that I've seen, but also has been cleaned. They're simply calling this genuine. It doesn't say cleaned on it, it just says genuine, because you can send it in and just ask for a genuine label. And that guy, I have it 2,000. We'll see what happens with that guy. I've got to think about that guy. He might have, you know, I'd rather get a lot more of that stuff off there if I can. This is fun. This is actually an 81cc in a 62 PL. $800 on this guy. And just really, really bold fields. The two, it comes from some of those heavier marks on the face, but honestly, I mean, I think I've got some 63 PLs that don't look that nice. Almost dropped another coin. All right, let's get on with some world coins. 1911, 3 mark, Deutsches Reich. This is $125. This is the Württemberg. There we go. $125 on that guy. This one I thought was intriguing just because Annex, the South African piece from 1948, is a proof out of a proof set. And I just thought it was kind of intriguing to have a proof coin from South Africa. This one they called a proof 63. I've got that priced at $100. Interesting design in general. Okay, next up, let's bring that guy into focus. 1707. Look at this coin. Just has a really cool look to it all around. The fields are pretty bright. So this guy I've got at 165. This is abbreviated Bruns Loon Callan Han, which sounds like it would be Irish, but it's actually all of those stand for different the bergs and overs. That's what that is. Lots of bergs, lots of overs. Super cool piece. I was really happy with that guy. AU58. Got a couple tickets, not speeding tickets, but I got a couple of these World's Fair pieces. Here it is. Day ticket 65. Good only on day of sale. 1L World's Columbian Exposition. These guys are trading for about 1 1/4, 1 1/2. These guys I might have to do a little bit more research. I just picked those up and thought they were cool. There's the George Washington one. So these go along with those Columbian halves that you see the first U.S. commemorative. So pretty cool stuff. That one is a Choice 64 on the W. All right, next up we've got, I got actually a pair of 91 cc's. Interesting just how different two coins can be. You know, the one on the left has just a touch of proof-like to the field. The one on the right, very, very satiny finish. Very nice skin though. So the one on the left is actually graded 63, and the one on the right is graded 62. And I'll say that I think the main difference is that if you look at the cheek on this 91 cc on the right, the cheek has definitely been a little bit more beat up. And so those two guys we have at 780 and 965. And now for something completely different. How big of a holder do you want, huh? Look at this guy. So, all right, here we go. GBCA. So actually, this is a real grading company, and they've been grading Saises, these silver pieces that come out of China. This one's a mint state 62. It has the dimensions and weight on there. These are nicknamed as snail Saises. Some of them will have like the concentric circles, probably from a pour, but some of the times the circles are a lot more accentuated, so it'll look like a snail shell. So, and it's pretty cool the way they do it. They've got the little bit of plastic in there to hold it down. And this guy, I need $400 on that guy. Sometimes you buy stuff just because it's different, neat, innovative, whatever the case may be. And that was the case. Maybe. Next up, a 1901, 2.5, an MS61. This is an old fatty. This might go out with one of my CAC stickering batches in the future. Got a fun little couple die cracks up here by the A and the T. Where you at? So this one I had at 590 on that guy. This one is fun. I, told myself I wouldn't buy any more Italian coins, and here I am. Nice little gold coin. From Venice, 1787 to 1797. Not with the Eye of Sauron on it. That is not what that is. Jesus Christ. I'm pretty sure that's what that's supposed to be. There's lots of apostles and stuff that they put in saints on some of these coins, but I think that's the design element on here. 7 1/4 on this guy, XF45. Okay, so this fellow I was pretty enamored with. This has such a great strike, and this is from Cilicia, and has just a ton of luster on it. And the centering is also good. The surface quality they called a 3 out of 5, probably because you've got a lot of granular finish to this side, just kind of soft, but you can see the bunch of grapes there. This one I need 1200. Aphrodite and Eros Nike. Sounds like America. Next up, here is an 1836 lettered edge. This coin came with lettered edge and reeded edge. So you can see, if I can get it right, the writing on the wall here. 50, F-I-F-T-Y. I can't spell, but it was there correctly. This is an MS64 coin. with quite a bit of toning to it. This one we need $2,600 on. Kind of nice. What did they say? Kind of nice at half the price. All right, enough out of the peanut gallery. Here we go. MS65 Saxony, 1871. Thought this had a nice look to it. Looks like one of my customers. Just don't know who yet. Scheidemünze, 2 Groschen, 1871, 20 Pfennig. So you've got, that is either double denomination or it's a fractional, but I think it's a double denomination here. Yeah, so they're using 2 denominations. This one is 120. All right, we're getting close, I promise. I'm gonna run out of steam here. I'm gonna show you the last bits of currency. I was telling you I've got another Tucson. This one is graded VF25. And this one trades for about twice as much as that other one does. The signatures were not handwritten, they were stamped. That's how big time it was down here. That's right. That's right. And so this guy is 2250 on that guy. Doesn't say as the bird flies, but I've got a couple of Canadians. Here is MS65, Gem Mint State 65 on this 1974 2. And we got an AU55 on this 1954 piece. Those maybe we'll just auction on eBay. They're probably, I don't know, $20, $30. Here's what's interesting is what's next. So this Federal Reserve note, we've got 1914 from the Bank of Chicago, where I was just being. Extremely fine, 45. And this guy, I need 210. The vignettes are always so cool on these. It's the landing at Plymouth Rock. And here's one that I wasn't sure about buying. It's an extremely rare type. So the red seals are always super scarce. This is Minneapolis. It has a lot of bleed through on it. And you can see how it's like faded looking. Well, then on the other side, that is bled through. The note was a very high grade. It still is a very high grade. They're calling it an apparent AU. Some pretty cool stockyards there. Overprint bleed through the back. The note itself is quite lovely. It just has the bleed through on it. Without the bleed through, it'd be probably a lot more expensive. That one I need $1,400. All right, here's another one. This is my third of these guys that looks like it needs just a little bit of help somehow, but maybe it's beyond help because I think they dipped it or something because the coin looks just a little bit pink. This is an 09 SVDB, but super lustrousness, but also the color is a little bit off. It has a little bit of the stuff on the surface. I think that they tried to get it off, but did it in a way that, I don't know if it must have been a chemical treatment because there's no like hairlines or that type of cleaning. So they just call it genuine, but the coin is definitely on the new side. I have that marked at 2,200. I don't know what we're gonna do with that, but if someone likes it, they like it, and I liked it enough to buy it. I thought it was pretty cool. All right, couple 3, 4, 5, maybe 5 alive. Up next, we've got Jersey Mike here. That's right, you can buy a coin from Jersey. Not only is this from Jersey, it has all these numbers on it. 1871. This is one of my favorite coins. The design is super cool. State of Jersey, 1/13 of a shilling. 1/13 of a shilling. There it is. Because, 13 of these make a shilling. It's like a baker's dozen type coin. MS62 red brown by Annex. That piece we have marked at 140. Rupees are always kind of fun. East India Company, 1/4 rupee. Once again, the multiple languages. Inscriptions, 1840, 1/4 rupee. And here's Queen Victoria. And this one is MS62. Nice luster. That one I've got at 150. And what are we getting here? Oh, this one is cool. What I think earlier I still said I wasn't going to buy any more Italian coins, but they keep calling to me. Just kind of a cool piece from 1849. All kinds of cool stuff going on with that coin. Just the look, the color, the eye appeal. I was drawn to it. What can I say? 1 centesimo. Just has a little bit of that purple color to it. MS64. Red brown. Venice Revolution. Sweet Revolution. 135 on that guy. And then I've got 2 more. 19040 in a 66 plus CAC. So if you want a common date coin, 040s are another one that you can get in very high grades. This one I have marked at 850. Super high grade piece. A little bit of some stuff. Got to try to get that off the case. Looks like it might come off. But all in all, really pretty coin. And last and definitely not least, we have just a very cool looking Hudson with all kinds of fun skin on it. Just a cool looking piece. Some of you are not going to appreciate the tone. This is MS66 CAC. This I've got at 1500. Just kind of a neat looking piece all in all. One of the most bizarre coins for my money that the US has ever made. But then again, I'm just kind of a land dweller. I don't mean to be biased against the ocean and the sea. My knowledge of the sea involves The Little Mermaid, so it's the Hudson. All right, guys, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it as always. Like, share, subscribe, talk about it, and we will catch you next time. Thanks.